to Q1, and welcome to our first Business Owner Speaker Series of 2018. We have some very special guests who I will introduce to you. And I also just realized that I don't have the clicker, but the show must go on. And oh, there it is. My man. Okay, all right. So, and the clicker's not working. Like it always does. But I have Misha over there. Yes, my man Misha on it. So let's meet our guests. First up, I'd like to introduce you, Nic Faitos. Misha, if you can click to the next slide. So Nic, right here on my left, has over 240 reviews, a 4.5-star rating. He's set to receive a Lifetime Achievement Award here at NYC on January 29th. Give Nic a big round of applause. And then next up, my man Mark. Mark has a perfect 5-star rating and growing a thriving business which features celebrity clients like Cake Boss and a few professional athletes in the area to boot, which we'll hear about in just a moment. Let's give Mark. So we're just going to dive right in with the questions, and then if we have time, we'll take a few questions from the audience as well. So first off, Nic and Mark, let's talk a little bit about just your thoughts about managing a business and also online marketing. And so first, Nic, let's start with you. How long has your business been around, and what makes it a success?
We've been around for 25 years, started in 1994, and at its core, Starbright Floral Design is a marketing machine. It's a sales organization. The product is flowers, but our attitude is whether it's a sack of potatoes, flowers, or sailboats, it doesn't make any difference. If you don't have marketing, if you don't have a commitment to sales, you will not succeed. You can have the best product in the world and be the best at what you do, but if nobody knows about you and if you can't tell your story, you have nothing. So at its core, Starbright is a sales and marketing organization.
All right, well, you're speaking to the right crowd this morning because these folks do sales for a living. And by the way, Nic is going to drop some knowledge on y'all today. We were prepping earlier, and that song, I'm So Excited, from the 80s came on in the background. I was like, this is perfect time, because I'm just so excited for you to tell the people this. But let's hear from Mark. Mark, let's hear about your business and your story and what makes it a success.
Well, first of all, my business has been around since about 2011, so not incredibly long. However, the things that make us successful are the idea that we put our customers first. I tell plenty of people, you can, like Nic said, you can have the best product, you can have all these things going for you. If you have no clients, you have nothing. Nobody's buying your product, nobody wants it, nobody wants your service. So what we do is we put our customers first. At the end of the day, my clients become friends to me. I call them randomly and we go out and get a glass of wine. And we make sure our product is supreme. In short, I cook for a living. I'm an awesome cook. I'm really good at it. But it's making sure that product is delivered, our service is opportune, that you can see our passion, you can feel it every time we work. And that our clients, we love them. And that over and over again, they'll tell people that. They'll go on Yelp and tell people that. They'll make sure that our story is easier to tell because we're doing such a good job.
All right, and let's stick with you, Mark. Let's talk about marketing that business that you're putting all your blood, sweat, and tears into. How much are you doing marketing online versus offline? Let's start with that.
Ratio-wise, I would say my online marketing is, say, 93%. I wrote in my business plan years ago that we are going to be a social media beast. We are going to exhaust online marketing. If this was 2011, I don't know what point we were taking off then, but I would say I was taking advantage of every point of online marketing as much as I can. With that being said, do I have print media? For sure. Do I have some other things I use? Yes, but those go in front of people after the client's engaged. After I leave their house or I leave their office, when I can leave something that says, oh wow, this little bit of card right here is Mark's and it looks great, but the rest of it is making sure our online presence is top notch all the time.
Got it, so 90% online, still doing a little bit of print. And then looking at online specifically, what percentage of your marketing is dedicated to Yelp?
Right now, it's getting close to 100. That's easy to say. I have the mantra, if it's not broken, don't fix it. I've tried a couple of times, other companies. I've looked at different ideas. I said, well, I can capture this and this and this if I give more people chances. However, people like you, Yelp, you guys you put me in such a great light. You engage customers, you put me in front of them, and in the end, it's a simple answer for me. It makes it a simple answer, a simple sale. I am pretty much 100% all Yelp right now.
Got it. And then let's talk about Nic. Misha, if we can click to the next slide. So, Nic, this is a screenshot from your business owner's account, specifically looking at your Yelp ads, and you've got about a $1,500 a month Yelp ad budget going right now. What percentage of your online marketing is Yelp?
I have 20% of my budget reserved for trial and error, just in case something else comes along that I want to take advantage of. And I will always do that, and that's smart as a business owner. But the bulk of my advertising, my mainstay, the foundation of our marketing dollars is spent on Yelp. And when I look at all the ways that you can search for a florist in New York City, and I realize that I'm coming up at the very top on the natural listings, and on top of it, there's an ad, okay? I'm there, and that's what we're constantly looking to do. That's what we're constantly increasing. And every year, I don't think there's ever been a year since we started working with Yelp where our advertising budget on Yelp has gone down. It's always been on an increase.
Right, so 80% Yelp, 20% trial and error. I dig that.
Or 20% do-it-yourself brain surgery.
Got it.
That's something, by the way, that you can tell your clients. You can say, look, you can spend your money any way you want to, but at the end of the day, do-it-yourself brain surgery does not make sense. If you're with a quality product where your name is in front of your potential clients and it's presented in the right light where your clients are going to do their searches, you will be found.
Got it. So, I heard some oohs and ahs over here. Let's zoom out a little bit. We'll come back to ads in a moment, but let's just talk about Yelp more generally and your experiences with it. And are there any tools or features that you use aside from advertising that you find useful that you might actually recommend, that they recommend to other business owners on the phone?
Well, look, the dollars that you spend on Yelp advertising are dollars that are nothing more than a license to use a product. It's membership to a club, okay? What you do with that membership and how you work it as a business owner, once you've become a member of that club, is where you really make your money. And the way to make your money is to use all of the tools, whether it's video, whether it's replying to reviews, whether it's studying your stats, everything that is in networking, anything that you can do as a business owner, studying your competition, looking at the pictures that your competition puts up. It's not just about you, it's about everybody else. And the dollars that you spend on Yelp are nothing more than an entitlement to, you've joined a country club, okay? Now, if you never go, okay, you never get any of the benefits of the club, do you? Okay, so now, in order to reap the benefits of the membership, you have to actively use it. And the more active you are, the more benefits you will receive, okay? In fact, the reason I'm here today is because, I use Yelp a lot. I became known to Yelp, okay? And that's exactly what I want to do. Through you, some of whom I know personally, I've been able to expand my customer base. I've taken advantage of the right that spending $1,500 a month has given me. Okay? And I take full advantage of that. Okay? And there's nothing wrong with it. That's what every business owner should do, and that's the added value that you provide to every single client that you have.
All right. Misha, if you could advance 2 more slides, I want to show you all Mark's traffic. And Mark, you are crushing it.
Well, clap it up for that.
Yeah. And we live in a modern feedback economy where people are really relying on word of mouth to make purchasing decisions. You've had some interesting experiences where people found you on Yelp and maybe you didn't necessarily know who it was on the other end of the phone at first, but it turned out to be a really important client. Do you have any specific stories you want to share with the audience?
For sure. So when we started using Yelp, the phone started ringing like crazy, and I was like, what are we gonna do? We gotta answer this. We gotta get this. We gotta make it happen. And I had more and more clients that were, I don't know, I could Google them. I could find certain things out about them and kind of get an idea of where I was going. Just to let you guys know, I get crazy calls. I get calls from, let's say like the store or like some store in the mall for me to cater out there, to the agent for a Major League Baseball player. And they really devise who they're calling for, and they'll say, oh, my client is such and such and such and such, and they need awesome food, and I heard you can do it. So like one of my first professional athletes I worked with, he called me and he had this like Canadian accent, only by follows hockey here. I can't really do it, but he's like saying all this stuff. He needs organic this and chicken and et cetera, et cetera. And I was like, why? I was like, nobody's eating that much. Like, no, you don't. And I Googled him and it auto-filled in. I was like, oh, captain of this hockey team. And I was like, whoa, that's kind of awesome. So I called him. I said, hey, I think I can do it. It's going to cost this. He goes, no, it's going to cost more than that. And I was like, you're damn right it is.
That's a wrap, and we're done. Thank you, everybody, for coming out.
So when I finally met him, I opened the door and I got this huge box of like all this food we made, and it's all set out in different ways. And I look up, I'm like, damn, this guy's big. And I'm like, hey, he's like, hey, I'm Bryce. I'm like, hi, I'm Mark. I got your food. The point is that I think that the story is that you never know who you'll meet, and Yelp. You guys, this company, has put me in front of so many different people. The client list is vast. Cake Boss, he says, I need to do better, I need to eat better, can you help me out? And I'm like, stop eating cake. Right? And I go to his offices and he's got studios and all this stuff. And he's like, you should be in a TV show. And I'm like, this is wild because you called me from Yelp, in short. So customer engagement is number one, and that's what you guys have.
Awesome. And then just sticking with the feedback economy concept for a minute, actually, so this next one will be for Nic. So a lot of business owners are, I think, still not on board with responding to reviews consistently. I know it's something that you do really well. What are your thoughts on responding to reviews, and any pointers that you might be able to give to our audience who are then able to relay that to other businesses they talk to?
Your clients need to be coached a little bit on how to handle Yelp, both when they get a great review and when they get a not so great review. And let me back up on that point for a minute, because I know sometimes people complain, well, I got a 1-star review, take it down and I'll advertise. I don't know if you guys ever hear that, but I subscribe to the church and state concept, and I completely understand and I support the integrity of the Yelp system. I really, really do. Your negative reviews make you look real. It's impossible to have 250 reviews as a business and not have somebody that says something didn't go right. Okay? But that's not the point. The point is, when you do get a negative review, how do you handle it as a business owner? And that's what makes you look even more real. And we have 11 of them, and that's okay. Okay, I watch them like a hawk. And every time a negative review goes up, I go ballistic. Okay, I want to know why we got it. I don't blame the customer. I don't even blame our team, but I want to find out what the source of the dissatisfaction was. Okay, and when I find that out, I want to go after the client with every tool that we have as a business to try to reverse that. Okay? I will post a comment. The comment will be polite, it'll be humble, it'll be apologetic. It will never be confrontational, even if the customer's completely wrong. Okay? And there are some of those. Okay? If warranted, if they've used foul language, and some of them do, if they have mentioned a competitor, I will reach out to Yelp. Yelp is very responsive, and I have been successful in taking down negative reviews. I had a negative review because the guy didn't like the way our driver was driving. Well, that's not a customer experience. That can come down, and it did, okay? Every negative review costs our business $10,000 a year, okay? So I want to minimize them, but I also welcome them. It makes us better, it makes us sharper, it makes us stronger at what we do, it gives us a foundation for better customer service. But at the same time, I want my customer to know that we care and we will do everything we can to make it right.
And customer service is so important on Yelp. We did a study a few years back. We found that if people mention good customer service in a review, that review is 5 times as likely to be 5 stars.
Can I interject for a moment? Yelp has changed customer service. Every time the phone rings, I don't know how it is for you, but for us this holds true. Every time the phone rings, we panic. God forbid that person found us on Yelp. God forbid they're a lead. And God forbid we do something wrong. Okay? And I guarantee you that I'm not the only one that feels that way. Okay? It's that important. Okay? And the service that you provide to the consuming public is phenomenal. And I say that from the perspective that it weeds the bad guys out. Okay? I welcome all the great florists in Manhattan. There are others besides me, unfortunately. No, I'm kidding.
He's not kidding.
I welcome them all. I love them like brothers, but I will beat them like dogs in friendly competition. However, Yelp weeds out the bad ones. And that's important. And I will tell one story if I have time, where there is one florist who's a complete scammer, has over 100 one-star reviews, no 2-star reviews or higher, okay, here in Manhattan, okay? That same florist has nothing but 5-star reviews on Google, okay? I used the Society of American Florists as my backdrop, which is the lobbying arm in Washington, D.C. for the floral industry, to prove that the 5-star reviews were fraudulent and to take them down from Google Places because of the strength and the credibility of the Yelp reviews. And that's a true story. So you guys have a lot of power, you've improved the game in customer service, and you've done a lot for your clients.
Boom. Let's kick it back to Mark, and let's shift gears. Let's talk about Yelp ads some more. It's one of my favorite topics, and everyone else is in the room. So, you've got for a living to sell Yelp ads, and so I think it'd be really important for them to hear about what your sales experience was like. In this case, Mark, your sales rep was Misha. So, can you give us some background on what that experience was like for you, and what really the tipping point was in your interactions with Misha that made you decide to sign up for Yelp ads?
Well, first of all, do realize that when you have as much time as I have with Yelp, and your sales associate that brought you on is still over there, that's a sign of a great company, because he could be doing whatever else right now. And I don't know how oddly it was that either we connected or we saw each other, but he goes, "I sold you your ad," and I was like, he's like, "Mark, I remember who you are, etc., etc." And it was like talking to a friend again, because we kind of built this connection over a few days when I did take that dive. I can tell you the story. It was a risk for me, a calculated risk, of course, which business is. It wasn't easy for me, but he said very simply, he said, "How much, do you do per event? How much do you make? How well do you do with one event, and what if we could replicate that over and over again?" And I took the dive, and then professional athletes started calling me, and the story is from there. There was a sense of comfortability. There was the idea that it wasn't just that he was selling something, trying to get my money. He wanted to help me out, and he saw a promise in me. And then from speaking to people after that, in the Yelp organization, it was the same thing. My account managers have been fantastic. Actually, I just changed one not long ago, and I was like, well, where is so-and-so? She goes, "Oh, she got promoted." And I was like, "Well, she's awesome. Like, why? Can you bring her back on? Can you get an update about me from her? Because she calls me in the middle of the night and I answer. Misha was the same way, and when I started with Yelp, it was instant success. Just to give a comparison story, I have tried other companies. I have gone through trial and error. I don't go 20%. That's BS because I've lost. And in short, I'll tell you guys, I had one company who used the Yelp performance and like try to take control. They were like, hey, look at Yelp, it's doing so well. And I was like, you're not doing that. You got nothing to do with that. And I started to realize like who cared and who didn't, who was kind of saying Phil Farner Flam, who wanted to actually help my business because they saw the promise in that. Fortunately, that was Misha, so I thank you over and over again. And I will thank all of you guys for the businesses you will help. Because if a company does not see the value in what Yelp ads can do, then they don't understand what running a proper business in 2018 is, in 2017, 2019. You guys are a juggernaut, and with that, you need that juggernaut on your side. Misha gave me the opportunity, and the opportunity you get to give other companies is something genuine, and they should take advantage of it no matter what.
So a couple things that you mentioned in there I think are really important. So Misha just wanted to help you. He wanted to make sure that you were doing well as a business, and that was really genuine. The other thing that you mentioned that I thought was really cool is you said that you saw him again. It was almost like reconnecting with an old friend. So, obviously you guys established that kind of relationship, that kind of rapport. I think, some folks though may be wondering, how do you even get to that point though? How do you get, past square one? I was chatting to Hiram Holloway a couple days ago. He's a month 4 sales rep, and he was saying that a challenge is people might just immediately say not interested as soon as they pick up the phone. So, Nic, in your opinion, how can somebody really get past that initial objection?
You have to find out why they're not interested. People will object, and the reason why salespeople are the highest paid profession in the world is because we do something that most people can't or are not willing to do. And it's the wading through the bad ones, the ones that aren't willing to talk to you, that brings you to the law of averages to the one that is. Okay? I don't know whether you have to make 20 phone calls to find somebody that is interested in talking to you, or 10 or 30, it doesn't matter. What you have to do is you got to sit down, you have to have your list, you have to be prepared, and you have to be willing to go through the numbers. And with every person that you're talking to, you have to have their best interest in mind, exactly what Mark is saying, okay? I never sit on the phone and look at a prospective client and say, this person is going to make me $100. It doesn't work that way. What can I do for you? No man is an island. None of us go his way alone. What we put into the lives of others comes back into our own. If I put your interests ahead of mine, my interests will be taken care of. I will be taken care of based on the number of people that I serve. And the more service that I provide, the more reward I receive. Think of a profession other than sales that can do that. None. Okay? Where your performance and your pay are directly tied to how much service you provide to your clients. How much service you provide is directly connected to how much effort you put out. And if it takes 14 calls to get to the 15th, okay, you have to know that, thank God I knocked this one off the list, okay? I'm number 9, let me get my no on number 10, okay? And know that 15 is coming up. And work them all as enthusiastically as you can until you get to the one that is going to be the one that you want to talk to.
All right, and then you got a joke about cold calling. What was that again?
Guys, cold calling is the most humiliating thing a man can do with his clothes on.
So, and then
you gotta do it. You have to, okay? You have to turn cold calling into a game. It's fun, it's exciting, okay? And it's rewarding, okay? And you gotta sit there on the phone, and you just have, you gotta make appointments with yourself. You gotta block times From 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock, from 11 o'clock to 3 o'clock, whatever your time block is gonna be, have your list, be prepared, don't procrastinate. No, you don't need another cup of coffee. No, you don't need to go to the water cooler. And no, you don't need to check your personal email or your iPhone. Okay? What you need to do is pick up the phone and dial.
I think we have an opening for a new sales manager role. Actually, Misha, can we click ahead to a few slides? There's a picture. Let's go next one right here. So, go back one. So, you know, when people are calling businesses, they may not get you on the phone. This is your team at Starbright Floral. You know, they may talk to somebody else who, you know, is maybe not necessarily a decision maker. So, any advice from, you know, either one of you about just, you know, ways to build rapport with, you know, your staff, people that are not you, to ultimately get to you on the phone?
I'll start. Look, guys, at the end of the day, you're building a culture, and that culture is based on a transference of feeling. Okay? I can't be a negative person and lead a positive organization. It's impossible. Okay? I can't come in the office in the morning and feel bad about anything and expect others to be enthusiastic. Okay? The enthusiasm that you have on the telephone, the smile that you put on when you don't feel like it, is transferable over the phone to the person you're talking to. If you make them feel good about their buying decision and you coach them properly about how to take advantage of the Yelp tools, they will get excited, and that excitement will transfer to the whole team. Yay, we're on Yelp now. Okay, we're excited because we have something new, we have something that works, and we're going to build and we're going to develop that. I didn't spend $1,500 on my first try at Yelp. Okay, in fact, I got one positive review back in the late 1990s, and I said, "What's Yelp?" Okay, and then I got a 4-star review, and I tried to take it down, and I called San Francisco, which was the only office Yelp had at the time, and when I got off the phone, I thought Yelp was a communist plot. Okay. And that's exactly how I felt. That was my first experience with Yelp. But when I studied and I learned and I explored, I put $100 into it. Okay, but I put $100 into Yelp when no other florist was putting any money into Yelp. Okay, and then the 100 became 200, and the 200 became 500, and it's a building relationship. You can't expect it to build overnight, okay, and you have to have your entire team behind you. Everybody in our office, everybody in our team, that's only part of it. There's about 75 people that work at Starbright, and everybody has Yelp on their mind all the time.
All right, Mark.
I'll say this. My experience with Yelp was a little different than his. When I did get on, it was because when I did get on, and it's not buying ad service, it's just signing up. It's because I had I put out a proposal for a job, and the person told me that I didn't get the job. Screw them. And I said, why? And they said, well, you gave us the best menu, you gave us the best price, but we don't know if you're real. They said, you know, we don't know if you're a real company. You could be anybody. And I was like, this is tomfoolery. And I was like, well, maybe if I, you know, have a Yelp account, I will be verified. I'm doing a great job. I have a lot going for myself. But you know, if I'm losing business because somebody doesn't know I'm real, because I run basically an internet business, then that doesn't help. So I got on Yelp, and immediately I got, you know, a couple of really good reviews. I guess more than a couple. And then, you know, when Misha called me, he said, you know, you have these really good reviews. Do you want to meet more people? For sure, that's an easy win. So my story is a little different because I was already kind of doing a good job, and just exasperating it and multiplying it over and over again was an easy buy for me. By the way, I bought it in $350, and it was risky as can be. It was like a car payment. I was like, this is going down. But it paid for itself over and over again. And you know, to reiterate something that he said, my employees, they know when we go into somebody's house and we perform, we go to a business, we go to a corporation like this, we have one job, and that's to put a smile on our client's face. The food is amazing. Everything's already paid for. People just want to be jovial and have a good time. And do I say, oh, these people are going to go on Yelp and say something? I don't have to think about that, because these people have already gone on Yelp and said, you came personally recommended. And I said, well, from who? And they are talking about the people in my reviews that they don't know. It's not personal, it's a lie. Point being is that it exists and it's real. So once again, customer integration, the fact that I build loyalty through that, and then I am happy when people find me on Yelp because it's a positive experience for me. It might be a little different for a negative company that you're talking to, but they can put out, if they're putting out a product that they're proud of, if they're doing something they want to do and they're doing it well, then they can change that around and do better with Yelp and becoming part of this country club. Sorry, Chuck.
All right, so we're running low on time. We can take 2 questions before we wrap up. Does anyone have any questions for our guests? I saw that hand back there. Yep.
So this question's for Nick. You had mentioned that negative reviews provide like legitimacy and make you seem real, but one negative review also costs you $10,000 a year. Do you mind explaining how you came up with that number?
So for people in the back, the question was, how did Nick come up with the number that a negative review costs $10,000? Let you explain.
We look at several things. Number one is our ratio of traffic to revenue. We look at where that negative review is positioned. If it's coming from an elite or a credible person who has posted many reviews on Yelp, and their reviews are everywhere from 1 star to 5 stars. If somebody has 20 reviews and they're all over the place, it gives them more credibility, and those reviews will show up at the top. And if a review shows up at the top, it's going to be on your phone. Okay? Most people do not click see more reviews. They look, yeah, the guy's got 246 reviews, that's great. Only 4 are going to show up on his phone. The rest you have to click to get to. Okay? And I want those 4 reviews to be stellar. Okay? I have 1 review on there that I took that was an elite type person, and I took that review from 1 star to 4 stars and got the person to revise it through correcting and doing all the right steps. And I have 1 1-star review. I'm not going to express my opinion of the person, but it's there, okay? And I can't do anything about it. The fact of the matter is, the $10,000 might be the number for my business because of the ratio and volume and sales and traffic, okay? To a person that is in, hypothetically, if your territory is in Paducah, Kentucky, and it's a butcher, okay, it's not $10,000, not by any means, okay? So it's kind of a rolling figure, it's a live membrane, and for every business it's different. I mentioned that figure because that's the whip that I use on my staff. Okay, in a positive way. This review just
That's a figure of speech, right?
This review just cost us $10,000. Let's get it down. What happened? What did we do wrong? Okay, let's prevent this from happening again. It's a cultural thing.
All right, we have time for 1 final question. Yes.
I'm not sure exactly if you guys stated this, but new businesses. So how far along were you when you first started with Yelp? And if we're calling into a new business, how would you get them really scared, $350 car payment to take that plunge as well?
So for folks in the back, Kevana's question was, how do you get new businesses to take that plunge and sign up for Yelp? People that may not have the track record that you had when you started advertising.
I'd like both of us to answer that, but since I have the mic, I'm going to steal the... When I started Starbright, Yelp did not exist. It really bothers me that today Yelp is much bigger than Starbright. Period. However, when I started with Yelp, when I saw that first review, Yelp was not accepting advertising. It was strictly a review site with no revenue generating portal on your side of the business. That came later, okay? And when I realized the value in Yelp, I was asking, can I advertise here? So that's how my story started.
Bring us home, Mark.
A couple things. For me, this is kind of great because there was a couple keywords. Statement that he said is that Yelp has the largest number of clients who call your business ready to pay. Card in hand, check in hand, ready to make a decision. Versus Google, versus other people we shouldn't name, like screw them. That he said, they'll call ready to pay. And that was the truth. I've gotten calls, I look at my website analytics, I see where traffic comes from. And usually when somebody calls me from Yelp, they're sometimes in dire need of a caterer for all sorts of different reasons. And it was true. People called me ready to pay, ready to hire me on the site. The problem was me. So if you reach a business who doesn't or is hesitant about advertising, they can have a problem internally that I don't know if you want to get into that and deal with it. As far as my business, we have to engage a client, we have to give them a proposal, we line up for bids, and we hopefully get the job, and then it's on, it's performing, it's cooking, it's no big deal. To get that point to the client is what you were getting that business to do. That's an easy sell from you guys because you have such usership. I've been in cars when people have gone to other states and they said, oh, let's find a place to eat. Go on Yelp. They don't Google anything. They go on Yelp and they figure out where to eat on reviews, by somebody says this, and they make a decision like that. So if a company cannot realize that having that in their pocket is a powerful tool for them, then something's broken internally. I don't know if it can help. You might have been able to see that. I am relatively young. I've been in business for 7 years or something like that. And my growth is because of the customer interaction, the engagement, the loyalty I've built from people I've met through Yelp. And I'm surely a tool that you guys can use and say that over and over again. And if a company doesn't realize that, there's a problem with them. They don't know business, they're not doing something right. If they want to do better, they will listen to you. And for you guys to get them to do that, I don't know if it's $350, I don't know what exactly the price is these days. It's them understanding that it's value added in a sort of way. And if you're not ringing the cash register, you're not in business. If you don't have clients, you're not in business. You guys are providing that to them, give it to them, say this is the numbers, this is who you'll reach, and you can do better of a job, and hopefully they understand what business is.
All right. Thank you all so much. Let's give a big round of applause.
Can I just say one thing? You guys have no competition. There is nobody out there that's as good as you, and every business that is worth its salt needs to advertise on Yelp. There is no reason in the world why a business that spends any money advertising doesn't put at least a portion of its marketing dollars into your program. Okay? You have to believe that, you have to convey that, and you will do extremely well.
Thank you all once again. It's very much.
Go Gators! Any Gators in the room? Go Gators!
Nick. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Excellent. That was great. Very insightful.
Thank you.
Great. Great.